Put your toes out, and then your heels out, and then your toes out, and then your heels back. And then you're gonna make your arms totally level like this, and keep your back nice and straight, and then push your knees out. And hold this for 60 seconds straight. And so what a lot of people are lacking is, before they start getting into their strength training and everything else, they're lacking the ability to have stability as well as transitions. And so I'm going to show you a number of full body moves today, starting with this horse stance, that are all going to connect together to build something really cool at the end. But we're just going to stay right here for a 60-second hold, and you're going to feel it all through the legs. Your body's going to maybe tremble a little bit, and it's really going to start tapping into your nervous system to start training your mind to be able to handle this and to be able to sustain the strength in just a basic static hold. And this, I really emphasize the fact that this is extremely beneficial for building stability and for building everything that you need before you start throwing all kinds of stuff at your training and developing all kinds of skills. But that's going to be the first one. Now we're going to immediately jump into some of the movement, because I want to get you guys moving a little bit. And so instead of walking out, we see the distance is going to be about this distance with the feet. But what if we just jump out to this position? One thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that I do emphasize putting the toes straight, but whenever we jump into this position for the legs, if you jump with feet pointed forward, the ankles might have a tendency to roll off to the side, and you can stretch the tendons and ligaments in your ankles. So we want to have a little bit of external rotation with the toes out there, just to brace for the impact. And so we're coming through to here, and we're holding, okay? So the next position is going to be going down to a plank position. And sometimes people have a difficult time getting into the plank position and being able to hold that for 60-second count. And we're not going to be super strict with our times right now, but if you're having a difficult time with the plank, well, we just need to spend more time on the arms. And one thing that I like about training outside like this is that it completely changes the mindset, and it takes the emphasis of your physical training off of all of the equipment that you're using, and rather just onto what the body is capable of being able to do. And so I think, you know, having a conversation with the team, and we're in a transition right now where we're upgrading our facility. But what do you do if you don't have anywhere to train? If you just go outside, what do you do in just a patch of grass? You don't even have something to pull from, to do pull-ups on or anything else. So what can you do with just a patch of grass? Okay, and a lot of people will say, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't, like, look at your gym, you've got all this fancy equipment and all this stuff. And yes, we do, and we're actually upgrading to an even better facility, and we're going to upgrade all of the equipment and everything else. But that's not the priority of the training. The priority of the training is how to be able to handle your body in space. That's the number one thing. What if there's no equipment, no gear? So going into the plank position, I'm going to talk about some of these details and how to progress up from there. And again, remember, this is all going to tie together at the end. So when we go into a plank, hey, first thing that I see people make the mistake of is they put their hands like this. You don't want to put your hands like this. You'll see people doing videos with their hands like this, their thumbs together. No, we want to spread the hands all the way out as wide as possible so that the base is wide. And then oftentimes people will go into a plank with their shoulder or with their hands directly underneath their shoulders like this. No, make that base wide and comfortable. Okay, it doesn't have to be super wide, and that's a different one, and we'll talk about that in a different situation. But a little bit wider the better, because you see there's kind of a little bit of an A kind of shape here, a little bit of a pyramid shape, and we know that that's going to be stronger. So wide fingers and then wide hands to get into that plank position. Some things that'll happen whenever you're in the plank, backs will sag like this. You might put your knees down like this. It might be a little bit difficult, especially beginner levels, to hold that plank for 60 seconds. But let's just try that. So holding the plank, fingers nice and wide, shoulder width or wider. And then the other detail here too while I'm holding this is ankles pinched together. So we don't want the feet sitting way out here like this. We want the ankles actually touching. And I'll just stay up and keep demonstrating this for you. But this is kind of a basic, super basic plank. What we want to eventually do is be able to go from the sagging position to straight and then round the back so that, and you can see what happens with my toes as I round the back. I come up on my toes and I can even lean forward onto the tops of my toes like this. And we're in this extreme version of a plank with the shoulders leaning past the fingers. But this will suffice for today. Just a nice straight plank. And there's a lot of ways to build up into being able to do those longer time holds like the horse stance and plank positions. But at the end of the day, it's really just spending time in it. And it is invaluable for laying the foundation that stays with you for life, and so that you can move on to more advanced strength and skill like you're about to see in this video, and this will all tie into together. So after that move, we're in that plank position. We're gonna go ahead and go into our next move, which is for the core. So this is gonna be sliding the feet up underneath you from side view like this. And that's called a Kong walk. And so we're gonna do 10 of those. We're gonna have the feet together and then push them back and then pull them all the way in. Even trying to pull your feet all the way through your hands and back. I don't know what number that was, maybe 4, 3 or 4. Keeping the ankles pinched together as best as possible. And if you have a hard time with that, it's not because of short arm. Short arm syndrome is a myth. Nobody has T-Rex arms. There's the ability to compress your core to fold your body up nice and tight. So if that's a difficult thing, then you have to build more core strength with moves just like this, because the things that expose the weak links, training those things are often the things that make those weak links stronger. Okay, and so we'll just call this the last one, and we'll pull all the way up to a stick position here. This is a kind of a partial squat with ankles together, knees together, and we're sitting down here with our arms in front of us. Our back is straight, so it's kind of this sort of lightning bolt shape running through our body, and being able to hold that as well. We don't need to do a timed hold of that, but that's going to be part of everything that ties together at the end of this video. So once we get to that position, we are in this stick position here. We're going to reach down and back with one hand or the other. It doesn't matter which. And you do want to do both, but I'll go from this side here. This is called a table. So a basic table is just putting your feet together and lifting the hips up and pushing so high that with your chin down, not back, but your chin down, you cannot see your knees anymore. So some people go like this. They'll sit right here. You shouldn't be able to see your knees, and they'll go like this. But you should have your chin on your chest and your hips should elevate so high that you cannot see your knees anymore. And then you hold that one for a minute as well. And so all of these static positions are building the simultaneous base layer of strength and flexibility, because it's forcing you to push into positions that would be outside of your range. So if you're here on your horse stance with maybe a rounded back and you're trying and the legs are shaking, maybe the knees are pointing inwards, a person that has no business getting under a squat bar. You have to start building up the ability in your hips to push all the way out, to keep your back upright, to keep the arms here, and the most important, the mental strength to hold those positions. 60 seconds, and you can start putting these together into, and this is basic level strength, that goes into 5 rounds of 60-second holds, all of these combined. So the other one being the plank, then being in this tucked up, super tight, feet together squat, and then down into this table position with both hands, but we're gonna go one-handed today. And so we should be here, the hips should be elevated, we should have at least a straight line across here, and this arm starting to reach back and back and back and back and back, and holding on one side and the other side as well, okay? After that, what we wanna do is start to reach so far back that the toes start to extend on the floor. So the heels leave and we're getting drive up through the body, and you can feel the pressure start to go into your hand. And at that point, what we want to do then is we can turn this into an easy, smooth, dynamic movement, which all movement is dynamic. As we reach over, we want to try to find the line between our feet, hand, and hand. So not placing out this way, but reaching way far back behind us. We can also even turn this hand that's on the ground to where the fingers are facing not outwards away from the body, but inwards towards the spine. As we do that, we're reaching, and this leg starts to come up off the ground, and then holding that and building this like Lego blocks, and then adding a little bit of dynamic motion and coming all the way backwards over in a Valdez. So these are 4 movements that then we can start to tie together. So here we go. I'll go slowly at first. I like to raise the arms like this just to prepare. Jumping into that horse stance, hands going down. Look how smooth. We're not taking any mumble steps, but we're just getting straight to position. From here, boom, up to the stick. Reaching back, up, and over. So now, quickly done. And where a lot of people will mess up is in those transitions, and the ability to connect smoothly, like spreading peanut butter across a piece of bread. That's how these moves should connect with one another. And it might not be perfect at first, but it should be happening within your training. But this is gonna require flexibility and mobility and correction of weak links that we didn't talk about all of them here, obviously, in this video today, but that we'll go over in subsequent videos and many other videos on this channel dealing with all sorts of different topics. But that's the idea, is going from static holds and then building up into rounds of strength, developing that foundation layer, and then going into dynamic move that all connects into this mini kata today. But make sure that you're fixing your flexibility, mobility, your strength, you're getting outside, you're using your body rather than relying on equipment, that you're connecting with nature, that you're training barefoot outside, and a whole host of other things. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.